Hey guys, I'm Morthadon, and we are back for Parasyte the Maxim, episode 14. So, last time we had an investigator looking into Shinichi sent by seemingly Ryouko, trying to learn more about him and his new body and how he's so strong and capable and what's going on with the hand and all that. But it ended up being that the investigator saw Migi. Migi tried to kill him, Shinichi tried to stop him, and it's a whole mess. The guy is injured but alive. Shinichi's trying to figure out what to do, and then he has this whole drama with Satomi and everything, where she just wants to know what's going on. She knows something's up, but he can't talk, he can't say it, or else Migi's just gonna kill her. It was a very intense scene, a very intense argument, and now I imagine they're gonna be a little more distant, even more distant than they kind of have been. So, yeah, I guess let's watch the episode and see what happens, shall we? All right, we're gonna start here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. Yep. Yep. We still have the opening, which makes me think that we are just gonna have this one for the rest of the season, which I'm actually really glad. I really like the song. I really do like the song. I'm usually not a big fan of like the screamo parts that you hear in the background. If the whole song was that, I wouldn't like it. But I'm okay with like the screamo parts if it has the normal singing too. Although ironically, I don't like the screamo parts usually because I can't understand what they're saying. But I can't understand what the other parts are saying, but I still like it. I don't know. That's probably just my bias to, English songs and screamo. But anyway. Alright, they have to have a talk. Oh. Hmm. They don't have a lot of assets, so they keep going. You've come to realize it, huh, Migi? Hmm. Who can they call? Hey! What was his name? Shoot. Man, that was a while ago, huh? No, I went Uda. There we go. Oh my god. That's so silly. And creepy as hell. Joe. I love it. Joe for Jaw. Hmm. We're talking about Parasyte, like, on the internet and stuff, right? But I guess maybe they talk about it being on the head and not the hand, but wouldn't you make that leap? Pretending she doesn't believe it, but she doesn't. Ooh. Be quiet, dude! She just chuckles at him. You fool. What was that guy looking at her for? Oh! What's under your eyes? Why are you doing that? Whoa. That's why people were looking at her. Interesting. Ugh, what a creepy face. You have a creepy laugh face, lady. She's just a kid crying while she's laughing. Just she doesn't stop laughing to go take care of the kid. She just keeps laughing, you know. Oh, this guy has a family. Oh, you got yourself in some deep shit, dude. You need to get out. Especially when you have a kid. Yep. That's no way to talk to him, huh? Though, like, I know she's looking out for him, but it's also kind of rude to, like, devalue someone's position like that. Yeah, that's exactly why you don't do what she just did, because now she's like, you should have said small time. He's like, no, I'm gonna make it big. Look at that outfit. Uda looking badass. Alright. Take him somewhere and talk to him. I mean, wouldn't you? A monster thing from your hand attacked him. Oh my god. What is that chin? Everything, okay. Told him the truth. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. It is definitely something to consider. Ugh. Hmm. I see both sides. I see what Miki's saying, but I also see what this guy's saying. Do we even know his name? You know. Ah. Tamara Reiko. Alright, who's calling? Oh, is it Ryouko? Oh shit. What? What happened? Are they meeting? Yikes. Shit. Should learn and stuff. Hmm. Interesting. Huh. These girls. It's just so infatuated by the baby. Interesting. Oh my god. This is definitely not a good way to hold a baby. She changed the way she held it when she confronted him, though. Purposefully? Appearances? Yet. Hmm. Oh, so she's not exactly part of it. Hmm. The problem is pigs don't have the level of thinking to think of humanity as there to slaughter them, as far as we know, right? Hmm. Confronting that. Oh, This again. Jeez. Quiet. Oh, out of the way, humans. Oh, Shinichi. Yet. That's exactly why she brought it to that lecture and everything, too. We know she has a nanny. Fortune teller, oh god. What is this gonna entail? Quite literally. That'd be his mom? She's dead. Hmm. Well, good god, the look on his face. You're losing it, kid. Man, it's I can't get over how good this show is just in the development of Shinichi's character, right? Like usually when we have a show, our main character is like in the beginning of the show, they're roughly the same as they are at the end of the show, except maybe they've like enhanced themselves a little bit, but the personality, usually they show you their personality at the start of the show, and that persists for the most part, maybe with some subtle changes, but usually they stay true to it roughly for a lot of shows, not every show, don't get me wrong. But it's so good what they've done here because, just like all these people recognizing that Shinichi isn't the same as he was pretty much instantly, it's like I'm able to see that too. Like it's not something where, some shows they use that line of like it seems like you've changed and I'm like, have they? But in this show it's like I really like he really has changed a lot. And it's crazy. But that is it guys for episode 14. This was a very intriguing episode. We had Uda come back, which is very cool, helping to pick up the investigator, tell him the story, learn whatever they can, try to convince him. I don't know what he's gonna do now that he knows that, Tamiya Ryouko is is a parasite, right? He knows that now, and he knows that her new name is Tamara Reiko, using a similar name rather than going for something completely different. Probably makes it a little bit easier to change and be different, kind of thing. But one of the most interesting things to me is like when we met Uda, they talked about how they picked a new name other than Parasyte because of all the stuff like on the news and on the internet and everything. And they picked the name Joe, but then shortly after, Migi said like names are unimportant. And then we go right into Ryouko, who had the meeting with the investigator and ended up like laughing at him, which is we haven't really had the parasites have like a like emotion yet. They're like rational, unemotional thinking beings, right? But it seemed like Ryouko was feeling some kind of emotion, right? When she started uncontrollably laughing at that guy, and she didn't even realize it. It's like the emotions are like there, but she's not completely aware of it. It's like she's an infant. It's like she's the baby, right? And she's just learning how to walk, just learning how to like realize these emotions and stuff. And then we go into this university meeting where they're talking about how like different creatures and animals and stuff like that will protect others because it has to do with their DNA. It's like it's in their DNA to reproduce, right? And protect the ones that they can reproduce with, kind of thing. And it's very interesting having her be there and listening to that and stuff like that. I wonder if there is something. They took over a human body, they took over the brain. I wonder if there's something in the genes that is triggering those emotions. Like maybe parasites were never meant to have emotions, but maybe they will develop emotions because it's an unknown side effect that whatever created these parasites or wherever they came from didn't anticipate the power of like the human genes being left behind. I wonder if that's going to be a thing, right? And if that is the case, is it possible for Migi and Joe to develop emotions as well? Because they're only take over part of the body, but they're still like inhabiting the genes of that body, kind of thing. I don't know. It's a really interesting concept. Or is it? Am I reading? I could be reading completely wrong into the laughing, right? Maybe I'm thinking more of like a sadistical side of her where it's not really emotion, but it's more like, she's realizing her true evil tendencies, kind of thing. I'm trying to think of it as like a different light, but I like the idea of them developing emotions because ever since she had this child, I was like, is there a possibility of a maternal instinct developing there? And maybe it could be taking a little longer than normal, but I wonder if it could, right? But yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah, she referenced it as a natural urge to laugh, which is, something we haven't seen parasites having, this like natural urge to laugh, and then having that whole meeting with the genetics. It feels like it makes sense to me, right? It feels like that could be the direction the show is going. And if Ryouko ends up developing emotions, I wonder what that's going to mean for her, for the other parasites, and all that going forward. But the conversation between Migi and the investigator was really interesting because I always love an argument where I can understand both sides, and I can understand both sides. I understand the investigator's aspect of being like, turn yourself in, like maybe, like obviously that'd be hard because Migi wouldn't go along with it, right? So, like, if you take away like Migi's independence, and if Shinichi could do it without Migi intervening, right? If we go with that thought process, yes, he might become a lab rat, they'll investigate him, he may never have his freedom again, and everything, but the information they learn by investigating him could really help humanity fight these things and stop people from being eaten. I definitely understand the Private Eye's, like, I definitely understand his outlook, but then I also understand Migi's too, where Migi's saying, like, Shinichi's just a high schooler just trying to survive, trying to live with this terrible thing that's happened to him, that's taken his mom, hurt a bunch of people around him, messed with his relationships, and even has messed with his own mind and heart and everything. And it's a really good argument because, like I said, I get both sides. I do think that Shinichi, like, it would stink for him to lose all his freedoms when he's just trying to survive, right? Like, he shouldn't have any obligation as a kid to try to save the world, right? But yeah, it was really good. Now for the ending with that fortune teller saying you need to like speak with the one that did this to you kind of thing. Like I wonder if there will be any more to that. Will there be some kind of follow-up? Like obviously she's dead, so he can't really talk to her, but will they find like a workaround to that? Like maybe I don't know. I don't know if there's anything that they could do to like somehow somehow give Shinichi that closure that he needs, right? Or at least supposedly that random fortune teller that I don't really trust says that, um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything that can that can close that for him, but I guess we'll just have to see. But like him at the end there, like running past the people, saying like "Get out of the way, humans," you know, it's it's Shinichi really does seem like he's slowly separating himself from humanity more and more as we go forward. And I wonder if it like an effect of his mental state due to the way that he is now, or is it like a continued change that's like becoming more and more like turning him more and more like Parasyte-ish rather than human. Like, is Migi's influence still turning him more and more, right? From when Migi went and like repaired his heart, or is it, is it just like his mindset where like, humans just keep like getting in the way. This PI is getting in the way, and they're all like judging him. Satomi left him because of the way he is now. You know, it's like, is that why he's mentally starting to separate from humans a little bit instead of rather be like more of a physical thing? I don't know. I don't know which one it is, or maybe it's a little of both. But yeah, the way that he said like to her, like I killed him, I killed her. I wonder. I don't think anything would amount from that, but like, would that fortune teller ever like go to the cops and be like, "Hey, this kid told me that he killed someone," I don't know. I imagine she won't. That I feel like that'd be a weird storyline to go down where he just brazenly said that to her, and then all of a sudden Shinichi's like arrested and investigated for that little outburst at the end. I think that was just like an intimidating little moment from Shinichi, and that's all it's supposed to be. And just to see like his mental state and where he's at and everything. But yeah, crazy episode. We also kind of had a inkling that Ryouko might not be entirely with the faction that's becoming mayor and everything. I feel like she was at one of those big meetings, but I feel like she's not like directly in charge of all of that. So there are just these other factions involved, right? And they're doing their thing. They're trying to establish a foothold for them to survive, because just randomly eating people is just going to get them killed, right? So they're, trying to take positions of power, and she likened parasite and human relationships to human and pig relationships, where it almost seems like they want to like control the humans and look down on them as, this cattle kind of thing. I wonder if that's what she was like trying to get at. But yeah, the problem with that argument has always been whenever they compare people to like to ants, or like, whenever they're like, oh, do you, you care whether you kill this, like in like an anime where something, there's another intellectual life out there, and they're like, oh, kind of like the chimera ants from Hunter x Hunter, where it's like, once they start talking, that's different, right? Because they're like, have you thought twice about killing an ant on the sidewalk or whatever? And it's like, no, but they're not sitting there like begging for their lives, right? Like that's the difference for me, is if these different animals and stuff, like I would probably 100% be vegan if every creature we had like high intelligence. And I know it's probably like a bad argument. And if any of you guys are vegetarian or vegan or whatever, and like you may be really mad at what I'm about to say, but the fact that they're like they don't talk back is like a big factor in the psychology of whether or not you're okay with eating meat and stuff like that. Like if if a pig was like, oh no, please don't kill me, like I want to stay around to spend time with my kid that I just had, and everything, it's like, shit, yeah, I'm not eating that, but the fact that they just sit there and eat shit all day until they die, like it's okay to me to eat bacon, I don't know, it's such a shitty thing when you really like go to talk about it. But it's an aspect of humanity where, to me, I think that's a big difference. So like trying to compare, like there really is no comparison, right? Like in my opinion anyway. Like you can't compare like humans and pigs to parasites and humans, because parasites are an intellectual race that can talk and communicate. They're not running just off of base instinct, which also means that they should be able to compromise theoretically, right? Like, they have this prime desire to, they have this prime desire to eat humans, but can they suppress that? That's my question since the start of the show. And that's another thing is, like, I mean, humans have all kinds of prime desires, but a lot of the times we suppress them to fit within societal standards, right? Like, and then some people don't. Like, there is something about, like, in our DNA that tells us to reproduce. Now, I'm not that way, which makes me, whenever I hear people say it, like, I've heard scientists talk about it where they're like, like, in our DNA, we are determined to, like, have kids. Like, that's like a prime directive of humanity in everyone is to reproduce, to have kids. And I've never been that way. I don't want kids. I have no interest in it. You know, I really don't. So, like, I've never believed that kind of thing, but I don't doubt the scientists in their research. There's always anomalies, right? And I could just be an anomaly. And there's probably plenty of other anomalies, but there is that prime directive. So basically what I'm getting at is, you know, it's a shitty thing to say, but there is that prime drive to impregnate women, right? So then that is what makes guys go out there and be, you know, that stereotype of guys being pigs and stuff, like always trying to hit on and pick up chicks and stuff like that and trying to sleep with them. It's like there is a little bit of that prime drive that kind of like pushes people, but for the most part, we resist taking it to the next level of like where parasites just give into that urge and go around and like eat people. We resist the urge to go around and, you know, assault people to satisfy the urges, right? And obviously there's some people that don't, and they do that stuff and they go to jail and get punished, and you know, and so like we may need some kind of system like that involved, but will they accept that? Because it seems like they're seeing themselves as its higher authority than humans, the way that she compared, you know, humans to pigs, to parasites to humans, and almost like she was calling us the pigs and we shouldn't have a say in it kind of thing. But maybe that's the wrong way to look at it, because we do outnumber you at the moment, you know? So, I mean, and as far as we know, they have no means of reproducing, so the amount of parasites on the planet are limited unless whoever made them or whatever made them makes more kind of thing, right? But, like, sure, maybe they can take us out 20 to 1, but as long as they don't have, like, 400,000 parasites or more, you know, then we should be good. And obviously they'd also, all 400,000 would need to come together and, like, agree to, like, fight humanity if there were to be some kind of, like, giant war kind of thing. I'm just trying to think, you know. It probably would even have to be more than 400,000. I just did some, like, quick math to be, like, the, you know, 7 billion or how many people on the Earth, like, you know. And then obviously humans are differently trained, right? You know, there's not 7 billion people on the planet that would be capable of fighting a parasite and shooting a gun, right? But anyway, that's a whole thing. But sorry for making it weird with going into the prime desires and everything, and the comparing humans to, you know, other, like, animals and the way we treat them and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it from me after that long heated thing that probably pissed off a lot of people, because, you know, I'm a meat eater and I'm okay with it as long as they don't talk back. But it is what it is. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed. Check out my Patreon if you want to see more from me. There's 2 episodes ahead of time on there you can see, and it supports me and what I do here. Very much appreciate it. Check that out. Link in the description below, or it should be popping up on the screen, and I will see you guys in my future reactions. Bye-bye.